One of the questions people have is about the accuracy of those who took the original manuscripts of the Bible and made copies. Did they make errors? Did they give us exactly what the original 40 authors gave us? I think that's a fair question. We want to answer that on Answers for Living. What we read now, they're printed copies based on ancient handwritten copies of yet other copies of the original. There were no printing presses back then, so everything had to be copied by hand. And those copies would wear out, and new copies had to be made. We ask the question, who says the scribes didn't make errors along the way? Our universities will teach our young adults that the Bible is a collection of outdated writings that are riddled with inaccuracies and distortions. And therefore, even if God inspired the original authors to record exactly what he wanted recorded, you really can't believe what you read today is what God wrote back then. Well, God went to great lengths to assure us that we have in our hands an absolutely reliable Bible. Number one, the scribes were meticulous. They were the custodians of the Hebrew Scriptures and dedicated themselves to carefully preserving the ancient manuscripts and producing new copies. Then came the Talmudic scribes. They guarded the sacred text, and they were on they're ruling from 100 to 500 AD as the scribes. And then came the Masoretic scribes, and they were there from 500 to 900 AD. And these scribes had to follow detailed and stringent disciplines for copying a manuscript. Their rules were so stringent that when a new copy was completed, they would give the reproduction equal authority to that of its parent because they were thoroughly convinced that they had the exact duplicate. With all their guidelines, the final guideline really stands out to me. If a manuscript was found to contain even one mistake, the entire manuscript was destroyed. These scribes had painstakingly, with reverence, taken the scriptures and ensured that there is an amazing, accurate transmission of the scriptures so that you and I could have an accurate revelation from God. Until recently, we had no way of knowing just how amazing the preservations of the Old Testament had been. Before 1947, the oldest complete Hebrew manuscript dated to 900 AD. But with the discovery of 223 manuscripts in the caves on the west side of the Dead Sea, we now have complete Old Testament manuscripts dating back to 125 BC. And what we discovered was our modern versions, and these most ancient versions proved to be identical, word for word, and 95% of the text, and the 5% of inaccuracies is in the area of spelling variations. The point is, God has preserved his word and accurately relayed it to us. And that is just the Old Testament. What about the New Testament? We'll look at that tomorrow.